All right, let's jump right in. We're about to sit in on one of the toughest interviews in all of tech, a senior product leader role at Google. And the question they get, well, it isn't just a brain teaser. It's a direct challenge to the future of the entire company, all thanks to generative AI.
You know, this single sentence from the interviewers says it all. For decades, Google built an absolute empire on being the best at finding information. But that whole world is changing. People don't just want a list of blue links anymore. They want an AI that can actually do stuff for them. It's a massive crossroads, and Google needs leaders who can show them the way.
And there it is, the prompt. It's not about tweaking a feature, it's about totally reinventing a basic human activity, shopping, for an AI-powered world. So, when you're hit with a question that big, a question that huge, where in the world do you even start?
Well, here's what separates the true senior leaders from everyone else. They don't just start blurting out ideas. No, they start with a framework. They show the interviewer how they think before they reveal what they think. And that's exactly what this candidate does, and it immediately changes the entire tone of the interview.
And just like that, boom, there's the candidate's blueprint, a crystal clear 4-step plan. In less than 30 seconds, they've shown they can handle strategy, they get users, they're thinking about the tech, and they're thinking about the business. This isn't just an answer, it's proof that they can manage massive, complex problems.
So, let's see how they build on this. Their very first move isn't some brilliant idea. It's a question, a clarifying question. This is such a pro move. Before you start designing anything, you have to know what the goal is. Are we trying to make a quick buck, or are we playing the long game?
And the interviewer's answer is crystal clear. Focus on utility and trust. This isn't about short-term profit. It's a battle for long-term loyalty. The idea is simple. Build an agent so good, so useful, so trustworthy that people can't live without it. Once you've done that, figuring out how to make money is the easy part.
Okay, so how do you measure something as kind of fuzzy as trust? This is where the candidate really shines. They don't suggest a vanity metric like how many people used it. No, they define their North Star metric as successful autonomous actions. This measures real, actual value. Did the AI get the job done all by itself? That's it. That's the only thing that really matters.
So we have a clear goal for what success looks like. The next question is, who are we building this for? You know, a more junior person might say, oh, it's for everyone who shops. But a senior leader knows that the only way to build something massive is to start by solving a very specific problem for a very specific group of people.
And here's that person, the time-starved decision maker. We all know this person. In fact, we've all been this person, right? You're trying to buy something important, like a new office chair or the right skincare products, but you're just totally paralyzed by having 50 different browser tabs open with reviews and prices. It's the paradox of choice, and it's exhausting.
And this is the pain they're trying to solve. First, all the information is scattered everywhere. Reviews are on one site, prices on another, tech specs on a third. Second, there's a huge trust problem. We're all skeptical of sponsored posts and fake best of lists. And finally, there's just the pure annoyance of the last mile, typing in your name, address, and credit card for what feels like the millionth time.
Okay, so now that we have a super clear picture of the user and their pain, we can finally talk about the solution. And I love this framing. The candidate doesn't call it a shopping bot. They call it the Gemini personal stylist. It just immediately sounds smarter, more personal, more sophisticated. And this distinction right here, this is the absolute core of the whole idea. We're not building a simple chatbot that just answers questions. We're building a reasoning engine. A chatbot just reacts. A reasoning engine is proactive. It doesn't just answer what's a good chair. It understands your room, your budget, your style, and then it goes out and handles the entire complex task for you. So how does this personal stylist actually work? The candidate lays out 3 killer features. First, it's multimodal. You snap a photo of your living room, and Gemini finds a chair that actually fits the vibe. Second, a review synthesizer that reads everything out there to give you one simple, trustworthy consensus score. And third, a secure vault that uses a virtual credit card to buy the item, so your real info stays safe.
And then, bam! While talking about the review synthesizer, the candidate drops the term RAG. Now, this isn't just buzzword bingo. Using a term like retrieval augmented generation shows you have real technical depth. It's the tech that keeps the AI grounded in facts by pulling in real-time info, which is absolutely critical for building that trust we talked about. It tells the interviewer, I don't just know what to build, I understand how we build.
So the solution sounds amazing, right? But now we get to the part of the interview that really separates the senior leaders from everybody else.
You've just pitched an idea that could completely destroy Google's multi-billion-dollar ad business. So what do you do about that?
And there it is, the elephant in the room. The question that hangs over every single AI project at Google. If this agent does all the shopping for you, nobody's going to be clicking on ads anymore. This is the ultimate test. Does the candidate have a real answer for this massive disruption?
And the candidate's answer is bold. They say you don't fight the future, you get ahead of it. You pivot the entire business model. You stop charging merchants for a pretty meaningless click, and you start charging them for what they actually want, a guaranteed high-value sale. It's a huge shift from selling ads to delivering actual economic results.
And this quote just perfectly sums it all up. The candidate faces the risk head-on. They argue that the biggest risk isn't disrupting your own business, it's waiting around for a competitor to do it for you. It's the classic innovator's dilemma, and to win, you have to be willing to make the tough call yourself.
For their final wrap-up, the candidate brings it all back home, right back to the user. They argue that winning isn't about features, it's about being the absolute best at three things: guaranteeing privacy, building unbreakable trust, and getting rid of every single piece of friction in the process. You do that, and you don't just win shopping. You make Gemini the essential operating system for your entire life.
So what's the playbook we can take away from this incredible performance? Well, first, always structure your thinking. That goal, user pain, solution, trade-off framework is pure gold. Second, see the big picture. Think about the whole ecosystem, not just your little feature. Third, show you're fluent in AI. And fourth, be obsessed with metrics that measure real outcomes, not just fluffy engagement.
Wow, I mean, the candidate absolutely nailed it. But a great interview is a conversation, right? The interviewer is clearly impressed and wants to dig deeper on the technical side. And that leaves us with one final thought. If you were the one sitting in that interviewer's chair, ready to really test this candidate's limits, what would you ask next?